Hello, friend! Welcome to the fire. Now, TTRPGs are a great way to spend time with good friends and make new ones. But also remember to not put other people in an uncomfortable situation or environment like in this story. The guy that made my sister never play RPG again. r/RPG horror stories, posted by That Muffin Guy. Hey everyone, my first proper horror story that I remembered recently when talking to my sister. So, for the background, I have a half-sister who is younger by 1 year and have been my best friend since forever. Even though we do not live together because of our parents, we talked every day and studied at the same school. The kicker is, we don't have the same interests or the same friend groups. She's an academic sort, while I am a geek dumbass. Because of that, when I was actually introduced to TTRPGs by friends, she didn't want to take part in it because it wasn't her thing. Fast forward a few years, we started college and talked more online than anything else. I still lived in our town while she started studying in another state. One week, while we were on call, she refers to Stranger Things and D&D with interest. And boy, was I happy. I started talking to her about D&D, classes, how to play, races, world building, and what is a DM, and basically, she fell in love with the idea. Her mother didn't approve of her doing theater in high school, so I guess she had this creative drive. Come the holidays, not long after, she came back to stay with the family and I asked for her to hang out at our local store and look for a table to play. I usually DM since I started playing D&D, but I was too excited to play with her and wanted at least one player she liked. My friend that came along with us was a weird guy, but not the focus of this tale. One guy was starting a one-shot campaign about pirates and had another 2 players already, so he told us we could play 2 if we wanted. We wrote our characters and filled out our sheets, and my sister made her half-elf ranger with a stag companion that we were sketching during the week. I made a Gananzi rogue and my friend a dwarf fighter. The other 2 guys made a cleric and a warlock. The problem player here will be the cleric. They seem friendly enough, but the cleric player was way too friendly with Sis. He talked to her about how her hair was glowing, her eyes looked like crystals, and she looked like a doll. This last comment made her put on a jacket. I didn't notice at first and hate myself a lot when I think about it because me and my friend were joking around with our characters, but Sis said she was extremely uncomfortable with him because he kept staring at her like a hungry dog. Our session started with our characters being stranded on a pair of lifeboats after our ship was attacked by a kraken summoned by a rival pirate crew. Cleric asked where each of us were, cutting the DM's explanation of the scene. DM: I guess you could choose where to stay. It doesn't really matter. Cleric:
I will be with the ranger, checking to see if she has any injuries.
DM: No, she doesn't. You're all fine, but your food has run out. Sis: Oh, can I fish for something? DM: Sure, roll for... Cleric:
Yeah, you can. See those skills there? You can use them too.
He kinda went on to explain how skill checks worked to her while she kept staring at him, blinking, confused. DM ignored him, and by extent, my sister too. We ended up on a small island where we could find food, so we decided to explore and try to find something there. We ended up finding some ruins and fought some weird wildlife that existed there. Me and my friend's PC went first to find traps since we had the best perception checks, while Sis asked the DM to check the plant life around the ruins with her knowledge of nature. The cleric asked if he could help her out, but didn't have the necessary skills, so he used a spell to help her with her rolls. Inside, we found a big empty room, and more tunnels that go way inside. It looked like a dungeon, and I got excited to see my sister playing D&D Combat since she enjoyed seeing me play Darkest Dungeon on Discord. During this time, I was so focused on my scene that I didn't see the cleric player trying to flirt with her while trying to get way too close to her. We didn't actually play more than the first room, which was a trap maze, because Sis said she needed to go home and wasn't feeling well. She rushed out and I said sorry to everyone while going after her. Now, my sister, she doesn't like being a party pooper in any way to anyone. More than once, she stayed listening to our grandpa, talking for an hour about nothing, and at the same time, I just thought she ate too many Doritos that we brought to the game. During the next week, I asked her to play again, and she said the game wasn't for her. So I just stopped asking, and the holidays were over not long after. It wasn't until today that I was telling her about my session that she said, "I really like listening, but after that one game, I guess it just doesn't sit right with me." I stopped and asked, "Why? You were playing so well." And she told me the parts of the story that I didn't pay much attention to, like the cleric player trying to touch her leg while telling her how he would help her out and didn't need to worry about anything. Now, my memory isn't very good with most things, so I just thought that she wasn't feeling well, and afterwards thought she ruined that afternoon. So I kinda just went blank for a while. We still talk a lot, but I feel really shitty that I wasn't aware of this happening right under my nose. I'm posting here with her consent to also serve as a warning to anyone who plays with people important to them that strange people can be sketchy. So, be alert. It doesn't matter if it's D&D, at a party, or in a store. There's perverts everywhere. Oh, that really sucks. I'm so sorry that OP's sister had such a terrible time at her first game that it turned her off from playing again. As a guy, I can only imagine how bad it is for female players in that situations. Now, fellow DMs, GMs, STs, and players, I implore you to create an environment that's safe for everyone at your table. Now, I've even seen firsthand how bad it could be sometimes. It's like blood in the water with sharks, with some of these guys. Also, it's never cool to just start touching on someone without their consent, especially when you just met them. So, just don't do that. Period. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And would you kindly follow the socials posted in the description below. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.